We are joined now by Neil Katyal, a Justice Department veteran, former acting U.S. Solicitor General and an MSNBC legal contributor. He wrote the Justice Department rules governing the special counsel. Neil, very eager to get your reaction to what we've learned about the communication now between Robert Mueller and Attorney General Barr.
Thank you, Lawrence. I guess my reaction is Dios mío. I mean, I can't even imagine where to start. I mean, it's not just the fact that there are disagreements between Barr and Mueller. We kind of knew that. It's not just the gravity of the disagreements, and it's not even just the fact that Mueller decided to go to paper to create a historical record. To me, the most significant thing, and you just started to get at in the end of your segment, is this line from the Mueller letter, which the Washington Post is reporting. The Barr letter threatens to undermine a central purpose for which the department appointed the special counsel to assure full public confidence in the outcome in the investigations. That's a quote from Mueller's letter to Barr that the Washington Post unearthed. And it's significant because the whole point of the special counsel regulations when we wrote them back in 1999 was to say, look, you can never get the Attorney General out of the process in our constitutional system, but you can either ensure an independent investigation or, if the Attorney General interferes in it, that it's going to become public. And that is what we are seeing now. We are seeing interference by the Attorney General becoming a matter of public record. And that means there's only one fail-safe option. And that is what we anticipated in 1999. And that is a congressional investigation that may culminate in impeachment. This has set up everything Barr has done, has now set up Congress to have to investigate. They have no choice because there can't be public confidence when you have an Attorney General effectively superseding or trumping the independent investigation by Bob Mueller.
The Washington Post is also reporting tonight that after Attorney General William Barr received Robert Mueller's letter of complaint, that the two then spoke on the telephone for about 15 minutes. The Washington Post reports that in that call, Mueller said he was concerned that media coverage of the obstruction investigation was misguided and creating public misunderstandings about the office's work, according to Justice Department officials. In their call, Barr also took issue with Mueller calling his memo a summary. We are joined now by David Frum. He's the senior editor for The Atlantic and the author of Trumpocracy. He's a former speechwriter for President George W. Bush. And David, your reaction to what we're now learning about Robert Mueller's very quick complaint to William Barr about William Barr's first public statement about the Mueller report.
Well, the New York Times, which got the story second, has a line in its story that I think gives a piercing shot of light as to what this dispute is ultimately about. The Times got a comment from people around Barr that what Barr was angry at Mueller about was that the Mueller report, Barr felt, was written for Congress and not for him. So why would that bother him? Well, because the issue of the Mueller report is, was there obstruction? And Mueller sets up facts that say, if this were anybody but the president, obviously, yes. However, this department has rules that say I can't charge the president. And since I can't charge the president, I'm going to follow this department's rules. Therefore, I'm not going to make any recommendations to anybody. I'm going to pass this over to the people who have the power and the right to make this decision. And that is not you, Mr. Barr. That is Congress. And that is what Barr was angry about, that Mueller was forcing his hand by taking a decision that Mueller wanted to make away from him, giving it to these gentlemen, to say, if you all think there's been obstruction of justice, then you have remedies. This department does not. And Barr is saying, I am going to take the fact that I don't have a remedy to say there isn't a problem when there was a problem.
Neil Katyal, to that point, it seems that interpretation of the Mueller report then suggests that what William Barr did was, in effect, intercept it. If the report was intended to be delivered to the body that can make a judgment about obstruction of justice, it was then intercepted by an attorney general who, according to the department's own rules, actually can't make a decision about obstruction of justice, and then he made a decision about obstruction of justice.
Right. Exactly. I mean, the whole thing is so snowflakey, just like much of the Trump administration. They have all these like fake complaints. I mean, you know, how can Barr complain about Mueller not reaching a conclusion about obstruction of justice? That's, after all, what happened in Whitewater with Jaworski. It's what happened Whitewater with Ken Starr, and it's what happened in Watergate with Jaworski. They just sent the material up to Congress and said, "You decide." And I agree with David Frum entirely. The whole idea behind that you can't indict a sitting president. Every scholar, even the Office of Legal Counsel memos, and even the Mueller report all say the reason for that is because you have to impeach first. You got to have a congressional determination first. So how Barr can sit there and complain about this when, after all, it's what he wanted, which was the non-indictment of his boss, the president, is beyond me. And then, you know, the special counsel regulations did exactly what we hoped they would do here, which is force sunlight on Barr. If he's going to interfere, we're going to find out about it. And that's exactly what we're finding out tonight. Massive interference by the Attorney General in an ongoing investigation of his boss, the President of the United States. And you cannot trust an Attorney General who interferes in such a way with an independent investigation.
Neil, let me ask you about one other point of interference with your experience in the Justice Department, and that is, can the Attorney General prevent William Barr from testifying? Because we have a breaking news report tonight in the Daily Beast saying that House Democrats tell the Daily Beast they've been told Special Counsel Robert Mueller is willing to testify before them about his report on Russian interference in the 2016 election, but that the Department of Justice has been unwilling to set a date for it to happen. Neil, can the Attorney General prevent William Barr from testifying? Prevent Robert Mueller from testifying?
No, I mean, these folks at the Trump administration are so afraid of the truth. They're afraid to testify. Barr is afraid to testify in the House of Representatives on Thursday because he might get more than 5 minutes of questions in a row. And now they're trying to prevent, according to the Daily Beast, Mueller from testifying. It's not going to work. And it's not going to work because we wrote the special counsel regulations anticipating a nefarious attorney general like what it seems like we have. And the failsafe was to appoint someone from outside of the Justice Department. So Robert Mueller was outside of the Justice Department. He was brought in to be special counsel, but he can leave tomorrow, leave government service tomorrow, and the Attorney General and the President will not be able to stop him from testifying. That was our break glass in case of emergency option. I sure hope we don't have to use it, but everything that this administration has done to try and squelch the truth leads me to think we might have to cross that bridge.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.